Thanks for being here with us on your Saturday, excuse me. I'm Cody Proctor. We begin tonight near Box Elder. 2 people died in an early morning crash on Laredo Road. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, the incident happened around 4:30 this morning. MHP says a vehicle going south was struck by an oncoming vehicle crossing the center line. The driver and a passenger of the southbound vehicle sustained fatal injuries. One passenger in that vehicle was taken to Northern Montana Hospital in Havre with minor injuries. The driver of the oncoming vehicle was also taken to Northern Montana Hospital. It's unknown if speed or alcohol are factors in the crash. The names of the victims have not been released. We'll update you as more information becomes available. A crash at the intersection of Huffine and Jackrabbit Lanes in the Four Corners area near Bozeman sent one woman to the hospital and blocked traffic for nearly an hour today. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, a 26-year-old man driving a pickup truck was driving through a green light heading east on Huffine towards Bozeman when an 84-year-old woman driving an SUV went to turn left onto U.S. Highway 191 South and pulled directly in front of the truck. The woman was taken to Bozeman Health Deaconess. At this time, no charges have been filed. About a year ago, 2 terrorist-related attacks in eastern Canada rocked our northern neighbor and caused security concerns. But agents who guard Montana's border say security remains a priority. MTN's Amy Pulley-Boone reports.
It's been nearly a year since a pair of terrorist-related attacks in eastern Canada caused alarm over security and screening to find terror activity. The shooting on Parliament Hill in Ottawa and a hit-and-run 2 days later with Canadian soldiers renewed concerns about terror not only in Canada, but the threat of insurgents crossing into the U.S. Brian DeBritta of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Station in Whitefish says the foreign threat remains a concern this fall.
In light of what happened last year in Canada in 2014, in Parliament Hill and also over in Quebec, they're starting to make their presence known. There's foreign fighters coming back and returning into Canada. So this is definitely something we're focusing on at this time.
DeBritta says Montana's border poses its advantages and disadvantages in that its terrain can deter, but can also conceal those that are determined to cross illegally.
For us, it's very difficult to get out there. You have to spend a lot of time on foot. A lot of the times we can't go up with motorized vehicles. Patrolling that particular area is more cumbersome.
DeBritta says with an influx of people driving, hiking, and boating through the many world-class trails, lakes, rivers, and scenic drives Glacier Park offers, he says this is also a way for terrorists to blend in easily with the tourists.
There's a network of trails that are throughout Glacier Park, and those trails come down to, areas of access.
He says Border Patrol agents have quadrupled in resources since 9/11 and still remains that way today. In Whitefish, Amy Pulley-Boone, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Amy. New at 10, a wildfire burning southwest of Columbus tonight, leading to evacuations of residents in the Countryman Creek subdivision. Several agencies are fighting the 700 acres blaze from the ground and air, including 2 heavy air tankers and 2 helicopters. The fire call came in roughly around noon. The fire is burning east of Countryman Creek. Roughly 80 homes have been evacuated. The cause of the blaze is not yet known. Well, the winds have died down in most locations across the state. Meteorologist Ryan Rose is here with a first look at what we can expect overnight. Ryan?
Yeah, the winds were a bit breezy earlier and they have since died down. We're still seeing a few gusts, 26 miles per hour in Cut Bank, Great Falls. You have sustained winds of 14. So yes, the winds have died down from what we saw earlier. Temperature-wise, very comfortable outside. We're in the 50s in many locations, 60s in Helena and 62 in Missoula. So very comfortable temperatures. And we had a very beautiful sunset in Clancy. Thank you, Wendy, for sending in this photo. If you have photos to share, please do, because we love seeing the fall colors, and we have had really nice temperatures, really pleasant. It's been in the 50s and 60s over through the evening hours, and we do have warmer air on the way for your Sunday. I will have all of those details coming up in Storm Tracker Weather.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll check back in with you soon. Meanwhile, Pope Francis arrived in Havana for the start of a 10-day trip to Cuba and the U.S. The Pope was instrumental in the two countries ending Cold War hostilities. Now the Pope is out to make sure the recent peace lasts. CBS correspondent Chris Martinez is in Havana with more details.
Cheering fans and the military band greeted Pope Francis as he arrived in Cuba. Havana's Archbishop and President Raul Castro were on hand to welcome the pontiff to the island nation. For Cuba, the Pope's visit is a chance to show goodwill. For the Vatican, this trip is a mission of peace. Francis helped mediate a historic restoration of diplomatic ties between Cuba and the U.S. I urge political leaders to persevere on this path, he said. But the path for peace between the U.S. and Cuba remains uncertain. During a lengthy speech, Castro said Cuba's communist government has thrived despite U.S. accusations of human rights abuses and the trade embargo, which has hurt the local economy, which Castro called on the U.S. Congress to lift. Pope Francis will carve out time for a private meeting with President Castro where the two men can have frank discussions. But he'll first host a mass in Havana Sunday morning and meet with 2,000 youths at a local recreation center Sunday night. Only about a quarter of Cubans consider themselves Catholic, but a recent poll shows 80% have a high opinion of Pope Francis, well above President Raul Castro. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Havana, Cuba.